I'll invite Dr. Sonu, our energetic scientific committee member, to please invite the next speaker, Dr. Lobsang Setem from Arunachal. Dr. Sonu, please.
So it's my pleasure now to invite the next speaker. He'll be talking on MICS in hazy cornea, Dr. Lobsang Setem. He is a gold medalist by the Equine in 2013, awarded the Global Eye Health Heroes 2016, Commendation Certificate awarded by the government of Arunachal Pradesh, BMJ South Asia Award 2017, and has been awarded the IOH of India Award in 2019 by the AIOS. So welcome, Dr. Lobsang Tetem. I hope I am pronouncing you correctly, sir. All to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just a minute.
Dr. Lobsang. So please, yeah.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. At the very outset, I would like to thank AIOS for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this wonderful webinar. So I'll be speaking on SICS in hazy cornea. So as you know, as an anterior segment surgeon, we have to be very proficient in both SICS and phaco, and it's up to our decision whereas to what procedure we have to tackle. But with cataract with corneal opacity presents a unique challenge. Hence, pre-op planning is very, very important for having a successful outcome. So success relies heavily on finding sources of potential complications during the surgery and also adjusting our approach accordingly. As corneal opacity hinders the view through the cornea, and hence it can pose challenging situations during the surgery. And also because of the scarred cornea, biometric concerns may be an issue. So hence you have to take a average K reading or the K reading of the other eye. So if you ask me what to go about, in cases of cataract with corneal opacity, SICS would be a better choice because it has lesser complications in terms of endothelial damage, PC rupture, and also IOL drop or nucleus drop. So you have either a simple scar, which may be central, paracentral, or limbal cell stem cell deficiencies, or ocular surface diseases, or diseases like endothelial cell dysfunction, like Fuchs dystrophy. So preoperatively, we have to consider the grade of the opacity, whether it is a nebular, macular, or a leukomatous opacity, location, whether it is located centrally or paracentrally, and also added pathologies as if there is, say, synechia or some other, say, corneal pathology, like as I mentioned, Fuchs endothelial dystrophy, because we have to then go for added surgeries. And also visualization through the cornea is also an important. So you have to enhance the visualization, and also you have to know your own surgical skills, whereas to whether you are competent with SICS or with phaco. And also we may have to go with surface optimization in cases of ocular surface diseases. And also proper lens selection is also very, very key in such cases. So for surface optimization, you either use say preservative tear substitutes, cyclosporin drops, or tear serums, or and also steroids before the surgery, which ensures a smooth surface, and it helps in accurate biometry outcome and topography readings. And it also improves the visualization during the surgery. Overall, the refractive outcome is better if we control the surface, ocular surface diseases. And also we may have to go with epithelial debridement before or during the surgery, or even we may plan excimer PRK 3 months before obtaining the final IOL calculations. In cases of healed viral scars, you have to go for antiviral prophylaxis 1 week before the surgeries. And also you have to give steroid drops under the antiviral covers, or nowadays you can also use NSAID drops. And in some cases you may have to go for SLED procedures so as to optimize the surgery and then plan for cataract surgery. So for enhancing visualization, you have to use capsular staining devices like Trypan Blue, or you have to go for light adjustments. For that, you have to have a very good microscope. You may go with low to medium settings to reduce backscatter. And endo illuminators are very helpful, wherein you get better illumination, wherein you can do Rexis properly. Dispersive OVDs are also helpful, because if you spread it over the cornea nicely, then also it enhances the visibility. And also in some cases, you may have to go for pupil expanding devices. So this is one endo illuminator wherein you can see that the visibility of the Rexis is well pronounced, and then wherein you can do a better Rexis. So I think I'll go with just a minute. So is the video visible now?
No, sir, it's not.
No, Dr. Lobsang, we can't see it. Can you
Yeah. So this is a case of a macular corneal opacity with cataract. We then use
Dr. Lobsang, the video is not
judiciously.
visible.
Okay.
That's
Can
okay.
you open the video separately?
Yeah, if you can open it separately. Okay, till Dr. Lobsang opens the video, I would request Professor KPS Malik. Professor Malik, sir, is one of the doyens of Indian ophthalmology. He is also the author of the first book of manual SICS, and he has done a lot of cataract surgeries with corneal opacities. Malik, sir.
Is Dr. Malik logged in?
I don't think Dr. Malik sir has joined.
He's not
Not
logged in.
I have not seen him.
We can take comments of Dr. Ravindra, sir, Dr. Ravindra and Dr. Dhaliwal, sir.
Dr. Dhaliwal, sir.
Good evening, everybody. My concern in a hazy cornea, like Lobsang said, initially biometry concerns. We got to use these lubricant drops frequently while we are doing the biometry. And capsulotomy is also an issue. Usually we do it by just putting some viscoelastic onto the cornea itself as we are proceeding with that. And my suggestion would be the least interference intraocularly. So
Yes, sir.
once we are through with the capsulotomy, we used to prefer, and still I prefer, a nucleus tumbling technique. And just one instrument goes in, tumbles the nucleus, and injects visco under the nucleus and on the sides, bring it out, and then visco expression only. No other instrument goes in because of the hazy cornea. And capsulotomy is the main concern. And once we are through with that, I think everything should go fine. And premium lenses are a big no-no for these cases. And I would prefer a hard connect, these PMMA lenses for these cases.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Sahu, you were not there for the last case. Would you want to say something about hard cataract and hazy cornea?
Video on now?
Can you share it again, Dr. Lobsang?
I think it's not.
Okay, so perhaps
Sunil, is Lobsang there?
no, Dr. Lobsang is here, but it seems he's not
Sir,
able to.
I think there is a connection problem with Dr. Lobsang.
Yes, I've got a problem.
I think we can ask
Can go.
Dr. Amit wants to make some comment. Dr. Amit, you are muted.
I had a question to Dr. Lobsang actually. He recommended using of NSAIDs in case of corneal degeneration or corneal scar or anything. But as much as I know, we should avoid corneal NSAIDs, especially in patients having corneal disease, because the chances of melt is quite high and it has been reported. So we have to be cautious when you are using NSAIDs in corneal pathologies when you're doing a cataract surgery. Second thing is we have all our esteemed panelists here. How many of you all really use dispersive viscoelastic when you're doing SICS in corneal pathologies? I mean, I don't know. At least I am very, very comfortable. We got very good results with HPMC itself. So, is there a role of dispersive viscoelastic in SICS in corneal pathology?
HPMC is dispersive.
I mean, viscoat.
If the endothelial cell count is poor, it does have a role.
Cases, yeah.
May I comment on this? If
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
Dr.
In
permitted?
fact, we were asking Malik sir's comment, so you can do it for him.
Okay. Sir is there? No.
No, ma'am. Aap
I
bataye.
think Sir is not logged until now.
Acha, okay. Anyway, so I think let's divide the whole thing into two aspects. One is the epithelial problems and other is the endothelial. So when we are talking of epithelial, what Dr. Amit was pointing out was the NSAIDs, basically when they cause corneal melting, it's primarily on the epithelial side that it acts. When we talk of endothelial disorders, then maybe, Viscoat would have a role if it's the endothelium is, we are going to tumble out the nucleus and put it into the anterior chamber. So one is that you are so experienced and that you know really how to handle things, and your chamber is adequately deep that after putting your, shifting your nucleus into the anterior chamber and coating it with the methyl cellulose, you are able to handle it. If not, then Viscoat does have a role. I would, put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ruchi, here, because we need to coat the endothelium with something, either chondroitin sulfate and hyaluronic acid based thing, or the soft shell technique of Dr. Steve Asheroff. I think we'll have more of these comments now.